Tuesday, August 18th, Planning, Zoning, and Historical Committee. I'm going to make the motion. This is Council Lady Kathleen Murphy. I'm motioning to meet, I'm sorry, let me back up and do roll call. Council Lady Benedict.
Present.
Thank you. Again, I'm on my iPad, and so it is a little difficult than normal to see everybody. So Bradford.
Present.
Thank you. Cash.
Present.
Thank you. Evans.
Present.
Gamble.
Present.
Hager.
Present.
Hall. I got a little bit of something there from Hall. Murphy, I'm here, obviously. O'Connell. Councilman O'Connell. I'll come back to you. Parker.
I'm here, Chair.
Rutherford, I know you're here. Stiles, I think I saw you.
Present.
Thank you. Toombs.
Present.
Great. Van Reese.
Present.
Welch.
Present.
Great. Withers. Okay. All right. So O'Connell and Withers, if anybody sees them jump on, let me know. I am pursuant to Governor Lee's executive order. The number is missing. So regarding electronic meetings as extended by executive orders number 34 and 51, I make a motion that this committee meeting agenda constitutes essential business of the Metropolitan Council and meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in the light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Council Lady Stiles.
I second your motion, Chair.
Thank you. If there is anyone opposed to that motion, please raise your virtual hands now. Okay, hearing none, seeing none, that motion passes and we will continue. I'm going to read through the consent agenda, and if there is something that needs to be bumped from consent, please let me know at the end. So on your agenda, item number 2, RS 2024-50. This is on consent to defer one meeting. Approves an intergovernmental agreement between TDOT and the Department of Public Works for the reimbursement of railroad crossing safety improvements at Post Road. Again, deferred one meeting on consent. Item number 3, RS 2020-469, Sledge Murphy Henderson, amends ordinance BL 2020-163 to authorize Metropolitan government to abandon additional easement rights for property located at 1131 4th Avenue North on consent to be approved. Item number 4, RS 2020-494, Bradford Mendez Murphy Henderson, authorizes the Department of Water and Sewer Services to enter into a utility relocation contract with the Department of Transportation to construct Donaldson Pike and I-40 interchange located in Davidson County on consent to be approved. Item number 5, RS 2020-495, Bradford Mendez Henderson Murphy, authorizes the Department of Water and Sewer Services to enter into a utility relocation contract with Tennessee Department of Transportation to construct the Donaldson Pike and I-40 interchange located in Davidson County on consent to be approved. Bills on second reading on consent. Item number 6, BL 2020-390, Mendez Murphy Henderson grants a franchise to Google Fiber Tennessee LLC to construct, operate, and maintain fiber optic communication systems within Metro Nashville under the provision of Metro Code on consent to be deferred one meeting. Item number 7, BL 2020-391, O'Connell Mendez Murphy declares surplus and authorizes the conveyance of a parcel property located at 0 Spence Lane on consent to be approved. So that takes us to item number 3 on your agenda and number 8, which is on consent to approve. Item 8, BL 2020-392, O'Connell Mendez Murphy Henderson authorizes the acquisition of 2 parcels of property and granting of an easement in those same parcels in conjunction with the development of project downtown in downtown Nashville. So descriptive. On consent to be approved. Item number 9, BL 2020-393, Taylor Henderson Murphy on consent to be approved. Abandons an existing sanitary sewer manholes and easements and to accept public sanitary sewer manholes and easements for 4 properties located at 3837 Dr. Walter S. Davis Boulevard. Again, on consent to be approved. Item number 10, on consent to be approved, BL 2020 Cash Murphy, BL 2020-394 Cash Murphy and Henderson. Authorizes Metro to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Cedar Lane stormwater improvement project for properties located at 2005, 2000, and 2007 Cedar Lane. Again, on consent to be approved. We are now on items on third reading. Page 4, BL 2020-316 by Councilman Hager applies 343.38 acres of a residential accessory structure overlay district to various properties located along Brandywine Drive, Road and Terrace, Willowbrook Lane, Barley Mill Road, Rising Sun Court, Rising Sun Terrace, Rising Sun Lane, Cherry Branch Lane, Rolling Mill Road, Louvers Lane, Kennett Road, Kennett Court, Rolling Mill Court, and Shoots Lane. Zoned RS40 and amends Section 17.36.610 related to the application for an residential accessory structure overlay district that is again on consent to be approved as I finally got through it. Item number 13 on consent to be approved, BL 2020-319 by O'Connell applies 3.36 acres of a historic landmark overlay district for a property located at 1600 10th Avenue North on consent to be approved. Item number 14, BL 2020-320 O'Connell on consent to be approved applies 0.09 acres of a historic landmark overlay district for properties located at 421 Church Street, zone DTC, and located within the Capitol Mall Redevelopment District overlay. Item number 15, BL 2020-328 by Parker on consent to be approved, changes 0.17 acres from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 118 Lucille Street. Again, on consent to be approved. Bringing us to page 5 of your agenda, item number 16. BL 2020-334 by O'Connell clarifies the language within Chapter 17.37 of the Downtown Code related to bonus hike program and transfer development rights on consent to be approved. Item number 17, BL 2020-362 by Council Lady Benedict applies 5.27 of a contextual overlay district for properties located at various addresses on either side of Porter Drive and the western portion of Duggar Drive, and in the connecting northern portion of Rosecliff Drive, zoned R10. Again, on consent to be approved. Item number 18, BL 2020-363 by Councilman Hager on consent to be approved. Changes 2.20 acres from CS to RS10 zoning for part of property located at Sweeney Bridge Road unnumbered at the corner of Sweeney Bridge Road and Hickerson Street. Again, on consent to be approved. Item number 19, BL 2020-365 by Councilman Parker. Changes 0.9 acres from CL to SP zoning for the properties located at 829 and 835 Dickerson Pike and within the Dickerson Pike Sign Urban Design Overlay District and the Skyline Redevelopment District to permit a mixed-use development district or development. Again, on consent to be approved. Taking us to page 6 of your agenda, item number 20, BL 2020-366 by Benedict. Changes 0.23 acres from RS10 to R10 zoning for property located at 1318 Cardinal Avenue. This is on consent to be approved. Skipping over to item number 22, BL 2020-368 by Rutherford. It is on consent to be approved. Changes 6.55 acres from CS to MULA zoning for property located at 6228 Nolensville Pike and located in a corridor design overlay district. Item number 23 on consent to be approved, BL 2020-370 Parker. Changes 0.17 acres from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 105 East Moreland Street. Again, on consent to be approved. Item number 24, BL 2020-373 by Councilman Swope. Amends 6.56 acres of the Brentwood Skyline SP for property located at Stonebrook Drive unnumbered, approximately 170 feet south of Fox Ridge Drive to permit an additional 55 multifamily residential units for a total of 195 multifamily residential units. Again, that was on consent to be approved, which takes us to our page 7 and item number 26, which is BL 2020-376 by Swope and Johnson. Changes from R15, R20, and R40 to RS15, RS20, and RS40 zoning for various properties located along Broadwell Drive, Woodhurst Drive, Bradfield Court, Bradfield Drive, Granbury Heights Drive, Heather Lane, Heather Springs, Hill Road Circle, San Marcos Drive, Tallman Drive, and Wakefield Drive. On consent to be approved. Thank you.
I'd like to ask if that is our only nomination.
Yes, you could entertain.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing another committee. Okay, Councilman Rutherford, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I'd like to pull 368 from the consent calendar for the purpose of deferral.
Okay, please let me know the number.
368, number 22.
Number 22. Okay, we're just gonna, since you are the sponsor and you're here, we're gonna keep that on consent, defer one meeting. There are no objections to that. Thank you. Councilman Rutherford, did that cover it? I'm gonna assume it did, Councilman Rutherford. Fabulous. Councilman Swope.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to defer 376, item number 26, for one meeting.
Let's keep that on consent and just change that to defer one meeting.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Great. Is there anything else? So with those two changes to the consent agenda, I'm going to move the consent agenda. Council Lady Stiles.
I second.
Thank you very much. So that takes us to, let me get my pages right. That takes us to bills on third reading, I believe.
That is correct, Chair.
11. And so that is BL 2020-290 by Council Lady Lee. Is she in the room? Council Lady Lee, are you with us? Okay, I'm gonna roll that to the heel. And give me 1 second. I'm set up on my back deck with my bad leg.
21, Councilman Hager.
Perfect. BL 2020-367. Councilman Hager changes 5.83 acres from RS15 to RM2 zoning for property located at 428 Old Lebanon Dirt Road. I will make a motion. Council Lady Stiles.
I second.
Thank you. Councilman Hager, would you like to move your substitute?
Yes, my substitute is just changing it from RM2 to the RMNS.
Perfect. Thank you. With that, that is a motion that I will second. Having that properly before us, we will take a vote on that. If you are against putting the substitute on the bill, please raise your virtual hand or speak now. Seeing none, hearing none, Councilman, your bill is amended with the substitute. We will now vote on that substitute. Are there any questions on the bill as substituted? Seeing none, hearing none, please raise your hand if you are against this bill, BL 2020-367 as substituted. Seeing none, hearing none, Councilman, your substitute has passed our committee. Congratulations. That takes us to item number 25, BL 2020-375 by Councilman Syracuse. Have you joined us?
I'm here, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, great. I see you now. BL 2020-374 by Syracuse amends 5.92 acres of a neighborhood landmark overlay district. Property is located at 2250 Lebanon Pike. So
I'm sorry, Chair. Could you ask people to mute, please? It's hard to hear you.
Sure. Please mute whoever is not muted. Councilman Syracuse, I think you're unmuted. Thank you. Okay. So BL 2020-374 Syracuse amends 5.92 acres of a neighborhood landmark overlay district for property located at 2250 Lebanon Pike, zoned RS20 and R8, and partially within the downtown Donaldson Urban Design Overlay District, within a neighborhood landmark overlay district, and partially within a historic landmark overlay to add additional parking, a special events center, and increase the maximum bed and breakfast units to 17. I think this is our first piece of legislation that has been in so many overlay districts, but I will make a motion. Council Lady Stiles.
I second, Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and make the motion on the amendment. Council Lady Stiles.
Second.
Thank you. Councilman Syracuse, do you need to discuss your amendment?
I'll give a brief explanation if the committee would like.
Sure, go for it.
Thank you. So if you recall 2 weeks ago, in discussing this bill, this is taking this historic property that we put a overlay to protect it taking it to the next step. So they've done well in getting up and running with a bed and breakfast. And as you read in the bill, they're looking to expand use by corporate events, weddings, things like that, which they could definitely use that revenue right now. This amendment is clarifying it, if you will. So the bill is going to now allow them to have weddings and events on there, but the way that it's worded is it says that they can only do so once they build the event center, which that's like their long-term plan, say like 7-8 years out now. So what they'd like to be able to do is have weddings and events just with temporary tents. So that's what this amendment does, to be able to allow them to expand and to bring some revenue into the place. And I would appreciate your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, is there anyone who has questions for the councilman? Please raise your hand. See none, hearing none, we will go to a vote on this amendment by Councilman Syracuse. If you are against the amendment, please raise your hand or speak now. Hearing none, seeing none, Councilman, your bill is amended. We will now be voting on the amended BL 2020-374. If you would like to vote against this bill, please raise your hand now or speak up. Seeing none and hearing none, Councilman, your bill as amended passes our committee. And that takes us back to item number 11. Has Council Lady Lee joined us? Let's see. Hannah, Ms. Zeitlin, is there someone who can reach out to Council Lady Lee?
Sure, yeah, we'll try to reach out to her.
And we'll just take a brief moment of recess. I believe Council Lady Lee was calling in. I don't remember if all the call-in people, IT can verify that anyone calling in is able to speak. Okay, we're going to give this just a Minute more. Council Lady Lee is calling in now, so let's give her just a second. Okay, while she's calling in, I'm going to go ahead and read the bill and the caption. BL 2020-290, Council Lady Lee, amend 65.1 acres of an SP for property located at 3839 Murfreesboro Pike within the Murfreesboro Pike Urban Design Overlay District to permit a mixed-use development. And for purposes of getting it in front of us, Council Lady Stiles, you will second.
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Let's see here. Council Lady Lee, have you been able to join us? I don't think I see her in the attendees. I don't know if there's another list of phone numbers that call in. So if somebody could see on their end, the iPad isn't set up the way I'm used to on the laptop. So I'm not sure if Council Lady Lee, have you been able to join us yet? Okay,
This is Hannah. I think that she's trying. Okay, I was gonna say I think she's trying to get into the meeting.
Yeah, she says she can hear me. Council Lady Lee, can you speak? You'll need to unmute. Sorry, the ice cream truck is driving by my house. So that will be our background noise, I guess.
Council Lady, I thought you had background music going, voting music going on.
I mean, really, I mean, I should hobble out there on my one crutch, try to flag them down with the way my day's going. So, but yeah, no. I should have taken credit for that, Council Lady. I'm sorry. I should have been like, this is just our new planning theme song. We'll do one each time.
Hey, it works. It works.
Well, now y'all know if you want to catch the ice cream man, 4:25 is the time to be at my house. Council Lady Lee, are you able to speak at this time? Are you just able to hear us? Okay, can somebody unmute her? She's call-in user number 10, I believe.
Hi, this is Matt Wilkinson. Wesley, could you try and move her from attendee to panelist? What's the problem? I just changed call-in user 10 to so that they're no longer muted. However, I'm not able to make anyone that's a call-in user a panelist.
Okay, is that you, Council Lady Lee? That little voice I hear coming from my laptop?
Maybe.
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, all righty then.
Okay, Council Lady Lee, I've already introduced your bill. I'm going to motion your amendment, Council Lady Stiles, for our Parliamentary procedure second, will you?
Second.
Thank you. We're going to vote on that amendment, and then Council Lady Lee, I'm going to come back to you. So if anybody would like to vote, or I guess, do you want to explain your amendment? That's probably best. Let me back up.
I do, please.
All right, Council Lady Lee, you have the floor for your amendment.
Yes, this amendment, I know you all have been getting a lot of information on this particular bill. This amendment is what we worked through with the community, and it is the restrictions that are being put on the whole area. It can't, the restrictions and how we want the commercial part to look, but also the part that is going to be a business part. It has restrictions on that through the SP so that it cannot have a lot of the things that my constituents were worried about it having. And so that's what the amendment does.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. I'm going to go to Lisa Milligan to, because sometimes, you know, legislation like this, once amended, it can change the Planning Commission's recommendation. So Lisa, could you run through if this amendment changes anything that would affect the Planning Commission vote, and if you have slides, if you could run through those.
Sure. Let me first start. Because this is more restrictive than what the Planning Commission voted on, it will not change the recommendation of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission, this is further restricting the uses. And so the Planning Commission recommendation stands. I do have slides that I think I'll have to share my screen. Hold on just a second. Let me. I'm having a bit of a difficulty. Hold on just a second. I'm going to mute myself. If anyone has any questions while I get my slides pulled up, I'm happy to take those.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Ms. Milligan? Please raise your hand.
Madam Chair, it's Jennifer Gamble. I do have a question for the sponsor.
Sure. We'll go. Let's do that, and then Lisa, let me know when you're ready. Council Lady Gamble, you have the floor.
Thank you. I know that there was a community meeting held last night. I wasn't able to attend. Just wanted to hear from the sponsor the result of the meeting. I know we, got a lot of emails and about this project, and just wanted to know what is the consensus of your area about this project, including the amendments and things that you are bringing forward today.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
And Council Lady Gamble, will you mute?
Yes.
It's kind of deceiving because a lot of the people, this has kind of ballooned in the whole southeast area, and so there were people on the call, a lot of people that weren't from my district. So I had a lot of different people there. A lot of the ones that talked, that spoke up first, had concerns. We tried to do the restrictions, as you heard Ms. Milligan say, that it is more restricted, to try to help with those concerns. I had a couple of people that were at the meeting that didn't speak from my district that were for it. And I had several people that sent me messages that were for it. But the majority of the people who spoke out, although some that spoke out were for it as well, but a majority of the people that spoke out had concerns about it. And it was hard for me to tell exactly who that spoke out was in my area and who was not in 33.
Okay, thank you. But you get a sense that the people in your area are in support of it.
I get I get a sense that it is mixed. I have had people in my area reach out that were for it. I have had some people in my area, especially at the very beginning when that organized issue came out with the form letters. I got form letters from people that were in my district, but that was before we did the restrictions, and they didn't even know what the restrictions were. I will tell you on the call, since you asked about the meeting, I did get some comments about a petition that had been going around. I do want you to know, though, before you get into that folks who checked on it said that some of the petition people, well, a lot of the petition people were not even in my district. They were in another district. But there were even some that were from out of state. So just listening to people who have come in to talk to me, I think it's a mixed bag. And I have a lot of different reasons why I think that is that mixed bag. But we have tried to have many meetings and let folks be able to ask questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, council ladies. It looks like Lisa has her slides up. And so, Ms. Milligan, if you will run through your slides, that would be appreciated. So we all have a estimation of where we are with this.
Sure. So this is a proposed amendment to an existing specific plan. It's the former Starwood property, and it would amend a specific plan that currently covers a 65-acre property. It's on Murfreesboro Pike. It would permit a mixed-use development. The Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions and disapproval without all conditions. You can see that the property is bounded on the north side by Murfreesboro Pike and on the west side by Hobson Pike. The current zoning of the property is a specific plan. The land use policy, this map has since been updated, but there was also an associated land use policy change that went for part of the property that changed a portion of the property to district industrial, and that was approved by the Planning Commission. The property is also within the Murfreesboro Pike UDO. The plan is divided into several zones, Zone 1, Zone 2, and Zone 3. Zones 1 and 2 are along Murfreesboro Pike. Zone 3 is along Hobson Pike. Zone 1 is located along Murfreesboro Pike and includes residential units, including 2 to 3 story townhomes and single family lots. It's around 8 acres. Zone 2 includes commercial and mixed use, primarily 1 to 3 story with 1 2 to 4 story mixed use building. Zones 1 and 2 have a central open space located between the two. Zone 3 is around 49 acres and would permit a 1 to 3 story buildings within a business park. It would permit industrial uses with office. It's access from Hobson Pike. The Planning Commission recommendation was to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions, as the proposal was consistent with the land use policy as adopted.
Thank you. Before we go back to, I know our vice chair has her hand raised. Before we go back to committee discussion, are there any questions for Ms. Milligan with the planning department? There are, raise your hand. Okay, thank you, Ms. Milligan. I'm not seeing hands raised at this time, but as always, please stick around. Council Lady Stiles, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. The community meeting that Councilmember Gamble referenced last night, I was on the call. The petition that you've received is from 400 people that live immediately in that vicinity and that are not interested. This is District 32, 31, and 33 people that are on that petition. The people on the call that were in favor of this project were developers or people that own land next to this property that do not live in the immediate area. This is not a matter of district. it's a matter of community. This is a large project that will affect, as it is on the Mason-Dixie line of District 32 and District 33, this will ultimately affect all of the Southeast. And so as you are making your decision of what to do, please be mindful. This is not a small project. It affects an entire region, not just a district. I'm sorry that more people were not able to be on the call last night, but the emails that you have received are from people that live in that area. They are not from out of state. So I wanted to be sure to put that out there and keep that on the forefront of your minds. Thank you, Chair.
All right, let's see here. Are there any other, Council Lady Salz, if you'll put your hand down if you are no longer seeking recognition. Council Lady Toombs.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say that I did also attend the community meeting that was held last night. From my perspective, there was not a lot of community support for the project. There was a lot of concern about the industrial uses. As we all know, when there are groups of folks who are adamantly against a project, they make sure that they show up for the meetings and make sure that they reach out to council members. So it could very well be that there are people who are for the project who did not speak up and have not spoken up, but considering the number of people who are against the project, I don't feel like at this time that the sponsor has the support to move forward.
Thank you, Council Lady Toombs. If you'll put your hand down if you're no longer seeking recognition. Council Lady Lee, you have the floor.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
I just wanted to clear up a misstatement that was made about anybody who was for the project was all developers or people getting something out of this. That was not true. There were some people from the community that lived in the community that said they lived in the community that were there. There was, I did not have many people there in person. I had two people actually that were in person. Both of them were for it. Both of them live in my area. Neither one of them have anything to do with it, developer or anything. So that kind of shows a lot of the misinformation that has been going out around this. So I wanted to clear that up. I appreciate the comments that have been made, but you're right. It's like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So I'm just saying that there are some people here that support it in my area. And we thought that with the amendment, with the restrictions that are on there, we put some things in place further to make sure that it would be good for our area. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Council Lady Lee. Just because as I said, I'm not in my usual situation here. Either Council Lady Lee or Ms. Milligan, if you could summarize the restrictions in the amendment that we have put on the bill, that would be great. And then Councilman Hall, I'll come to you next. But Ms. Milligan, could you just summarize the restrictions that are added in the amendment we've put on the bill?
Sure. Hold on just a second. I'm pulling up the amendments packet. So it essentially permits all uses of IWD except for a relatively long list of uses. And I'll just give you sort of an idea of what those are. It would restrict it would prohibit fuel storage, tank farm, compressor station. It would prohibit collection center, construction or demolition landfill, construction or demolition waste processing, medical waste, recycling collection center, recycling facility, landfill, waste transfer. It would further restrict any sort of power or gas substation, reservoir water tank, wastewater treatment, pump station, water treatment plant. It would limit transportation uses such as bus transfer station, heliport, helistop, park and ride lot, railroad station, It would also prohibit commercial uses such as automobile repair, automobile sales new, automobile sales used, automobile service, beer and cigarette sales, boat storage, car wash, flea market, laundry plant, self-service storage, wrecker service. Under recreation and entertainment uses, it would prohibit commercial amusement outside, fairground, racetrack, sex club, stadium, arena. It would prohibit non-residential drug treatment, and it would also prohibit alternative financial services, which includes sort of check cashing type places. So it's an extensive extensive list of uses that would be prohibited.
That is, I wasn't checking my land use table, but I think you may have covered all the ones I have marked that I don't like. Thank you, Ms. Milligan. Councilman Hall, you have your hand raised. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question for clarification, because I know this has come up a few times in the last couple of years, some similar things. Did this rezoning require more than one council member to sign off on it? Because I know a lot of areas, times where things are on the border between one place or the other and impact more than one, it's required for both council members to sponsor the legislation.
I'm going to let Ms. Zeitlin answer that because I believe this is totally in Council Lady Lee's district, but again, I do not want to incorrectly state that. So if Ms. Milligan or Ms. Zeitlin could confirm that for Councilman Hall.
Yes, hi, this is Lisa with planning. This rezoning request is fully within Councilmember Lee's district, and so Councilmember Lee would be the only required sponsor.
Councilman Hall, did that cover it for you? Do you have further questions?
Yes. No, yes, thank you. That covered it.
Okay, great. If you put your hand down, as I put my hand up on accident. Is there any further questions for Ms. Milligan or Council Lady Lee? Please raise your hand now. Seeing none. Wait, Council Lady Toombs, I see your hand. You have the floor.
Just a quick question. With that long list of restrictions, what's left under IWD for the developer to do with that particular zoning category?
Ms. Milligan, could you rattle off some of the things left in the category if there any left?
Yes, hold on just a second. Let me slip into my zoning code. Some of the uses that would still be permitted within IWD would be religious institution, business school, community education, office uses such as general office would be permitted. Let's see, medical office would be permitted. Let's see. Building contractor supply, warehousing, distributive business, wholesale would be permitted. Warehousing supply, I'm sorry, that one, yes, that's permitted. Research services, a warehouse would be permitted. I haven't rectified the list of what has been taken out with what is still permitted, so I'm sort of having to look back and forth.
I guess, Council Lady Toombs, was there some specific uses you were wondering about?
No, that was just such a long list. I was wondering what was left. So.
I completely understand. Council Lady Toombs, is that sufficient for you, or would you like Ms. Milligan to continue?
No, that was fine. What she said is fine.
Right. Councilman O'Connell, if you'll mute, we've got your other committee in here.
The committee today.
Councilman O'Connell?
Councilmember Henderson.
Councilman O'Connell?
Present.
Freddie, can you mute?
Okay. Council Lady Gamble.
Yes, thank you, Chair. A question for Council Lady Lee. Just do you know what the developers intend to use the IWD? Do you know what they intend to build or develop, or which one of those uses they intend to utilize?
Council Lady Lee, you have the floor.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I am at another meeting, so I don't have the specifics out there. I believe it's WPT. There's the company that has it. They intend to do it to what is it? It's like I can't answer that without having it. I can't answer that. They've got like about 3 different companies that they are talking to, and it is more of what is not allowed than what it is. I have been trying to work closely with them so that it's not distribution type thing where trucks are coming in all the time and putting stuff back out. But because they're waiting on the zoning to see if things are going to go through, if they will even be able to have it, I don't have the specifics. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That answers. Thank you.
Ms. Milligan, do you have any information that you could provide Ms. Council Lady Gamble on that?
I don't, and I mean, it would be permitted of any of the uses that remain within IWD, except for what's within that prohibited list. And so I don't have any further information about what this specific person may or may not be proposing.
Thank you. Does that cover it, Ms. Gamble?
Yes, Chair. Thank you.
All right. Councilman Hager, you have the floor.
Does the restrictions include usually with IWD and industrial, they can work 24/7, 7 days a week? Is there any restrictions on that?
Ms. Milligan, can you answer that?
Any sort of operational criteria would be per the IWD standards. There's no.
Go ahead.
It's not further restricted. It would just be as per IWD.
Thank you, Ms. Milligan. Councilman Hager?
Is that 24/7, 7 days a week?
Ms. Milligan?
That would be a question for the codes department. I do not have that information.
Councilman Hager?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Council Lady Stiles.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And thank you, Ms. Milligan, for enumerating the uses that can be on that property. You mentioned a couple of times warehouse. And if you have looked at your emails, colleagues, you've seen that the community is adamantly against warehouses. They also do not want any more tractor trailer traffic. I personally went out there at 7 o'clock in the morning. In no less than 15 minutes, 25 semis went by me, gravel trucks, landscaping, and this is going by people's homes. You add 65 acres of IWing to drastically increase that traffic. The road can barely handle it now, and warehouses are allowed. So again, please be mindful in your vote. This is not something that most of the community wants.
Councilman Hager, are you still seeking recognition?
No, let me put my hand down. Sorry.
Okay. Council Lady Stiles, are you seeking recognition? Thank you. Council Lady Lee. Council Lady Lee, why don't you bring us home with a closing statement?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I would say I would appreciate your vote. We have bent over backwards to try to do what we could do to make sure that the restrictions were on this. Another piece of this that I am enjoying is that if this goes into effect, the roads that need much improvement. A large section of it, not the whole road, but a large section will get improved. It's going to be open up to a 5-lane. It's going to have sidewalks. It's going to have walkways all through the business park. I do think it is going to be a good area. I am so sorry the way that this started out. I think it started out with some misinformation, and then once mines are closed, they're closed. Sometimes they don't open back up to see what good could be done with this. I am going to answer Councilman Hager's question about the 24/7. That is one of the things that we had conversations about. That couldn't be put in the SP by itself. I was not opposed to putting that, to put some strict hours on it. That is some conversation that we had. But yes, that is up to the building, to the business. We did have conversations, though, that whatever business we were looking into would be one that does not have like a whole lot of trucks in and out, because that is one of the things that the community did not want to do. So that conversation was there. I support this. I think that there are a lot of misinformation out there, and people are going on the term industry instead of looking to see really what it could be. But I would appreciate your vote putting the amendment on and voting out for me. And just to let you know, we have had over 10 meetings, I believe, since the beginning of March on this, trying to bend over backwards to get different input. But thank you, Council. Thank you, Council Lady.
The ice cream truck is finishing his round, so I think that probably brings our discussion to an end. So, Ms. Zeitlin, I believe we have not taken a vote on the amendment. Is that correct, or did we take a vote on the amendment?
That's correct. We've not yet voted on the amendment.
Okay, so we do have it motioned and properly before us. What we're going to do now is our typical, please raise your hand if you are against the amendment going on this bill. Hearing none and seeing none, the bill is amended and before us. I think that we have discussed this in length as amended, but if anyone has further discussion, please raise your hand now. Hearing none and seeing none, I'm going to make the motion for approval. I will ask for a second.
Sorry, we're voting for or against this bill as it stands right now?
Yes, this
amended? Yes, okay.
For approval.
Second.
And okay, so we have a motion and a second before us. If you would like to vote against this bill, please raise your hand or speak now. I have Stiles, Rutherford, Welch, and Bradford voting against. The rest of the committee is,
Chair.
Yes,
Hey,
Sevens?
I would like to abstain on this, please.
Okay, we're going to get to that in just a second.
Okay.
So we have the 4 against. If you would like to, please put your hands down if you have your hands raised. If you would like to abstain on this bill, please raise your hand. I have Toombs, Evan, Gamble, Hager, Benedict, and Parker. So that's 1, 2, 3, and Van Reese. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not voting. I will remind you, we are the planning committee. I understand we have abstentions up here tonight, but at some point, our job is to give a recommendation to the council on planning and zoning bills. So we have, let me do the math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 4 in favor, 4 against, 7 abstentions. With that, the bill has no recommendation out of the committee. That was our final bill on the agenda. And we are now, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I moved. Council Lady Stiles, if you'd like to.
I second.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.